In Columbia Heights, the Washington, D.C. neighborhood hit hardest by COVID, masks are everywhere. The advice from experts for all: if you want to help slow the spread of the coronavirus here, or for that matter, anywhere in America, it's pretty simple. Put one on.
But increasingly in this country, there's another consideration: politics. To wear or not to wear one of these has, in many quarters, become a matter not just of health and safety, but a matter of who do you believe? Who do you support? And are you on side with the president?
Famously, Donald Trump has yet to wear a mask in public, even for symbolic value, even as he's regularly met by those who do wear one. Here, touring a face mask distribution center in Pennsylvania last week. Later, meeting with some of its workers, themselves, unlike the president, masked. Then there's the time he chose not to wear a mask while greeting elderly veterans of the Second World War. In the face of advice from experts, countless Americans have taken note of Trump's lead.
Carry on my wayward son.
When we went to Pennsylvania last month for one of those Reopen America rallies, signals of strong support for Donald Trump were everywhere. Some did wear masks, many did not. Among those who did, these three with their assault-style weaponry and a non-COVID reason for masking up.
People argue it is a health and safety matter. You're wearing a mask, for example.
That's just to hide my face.
Open up! Open up!
Others seem to make clear choosing to be mask-free amid a pandemic was a matter of politics.
You're not wearing a mask. Why?
No, I'm not wearing a mask.
Why?
Because I don't need a mask.
Why?
She didn't cite Donald Trump, but she did borrow his slogan. It's a perspective now run rampant. On Long Island, New York last week, as this reporter covered a similar protest, he was taunted by defiant, mask-free Trump supporters.
I think you need to back away from me.
No, I got hydroxychloroquine. I'm fine.
It's the politicization of everyday life. When every single small gesture becomes freighted with political meaning, then it's hard to hold society together. Maybe we've forgotten how to talk to each other.
It perplexes and angers Louisiana opinion writer Rod Dreher.
But they're making masks into a sort of totem, a condensed symbol of their fear.
He's a fierce conservative, but no fan of Trump. And he worries what all of this says about today's America.
I think what the virus has done has been to pull the veil back from over some real problems in this country, some real divisions, class divisions, cultural divisions, racial divisions, religious divisions, you name it. These divisions have been developing for quite some time, but our great wealth and our political stability have papered over a lot of it. Well, now that wealth is going away, and we have a deadly virus out there, and we can't hide from these divisions anymore.
We live in a country of freedom. We don't live in a country where the government tells us how to take care of our health. And stand for Washington, D.C., but
at a small Reopen D.C. rally in Washington last week, the mask divide was underlined.
They're based off the numbers Andrew Cuomo himself gave.
Rally organizer Suzanne Monk told us what she thinks every time she sees Donald Trump not wearing a mask.
I feel like I can see him talking, and I appreciate being able to see my president talk rather than not. I feel confident that he feels confident. So that builds confidence, because the mask actually also builds fear.
Through fear and intimidation.
It's a view reinforced by big-time Trump-backing commentators who've taken to slamming those who insist that masks help.
Well, by the way, they'll say this whole mask thing is settled science, just like they do with climate change. Of course, it's not. And they know it.
The United States, more than any other country, has made the virus a matter of culture war.
Author David Frum is, like Dreher, a conservative and a Trump critic. He says for millions of Trump supporters, wearing a mask has come to be seen as an untenable betrayal. And so on that basis, they will not.
It's an act of criticism of the president. It's an act that suggests you don't think that Donald Trump is doing a good job. If you are a Trump supporter to wear a mask means to admit, I made a big mistake in 2016. And people don't like to admit, I made a big mistake.
Meanwhile, Trump continues his mask-free presidency.
I think wearing a face mask as I greet presidents, prime ministers, dictators, kings, queens, I don't know, somehow I don't see it for myself.
Others, he underlines, can do what they want. But this is his choice, his example.
I think what we're seeing here is what the world looks like when America fails to lead, when the government of the United States is in unworthy hands.
It is desperately important that we be able to stick together and to help each other through this and not be at each other's throats. But who would have imagined that something as anodyne as a mask would become such a flashpoint?
And indeed, for the moment, a flashpoint it is. In a country divided evermore, while the virus rages. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.